and welcome back to Football Made Simple. Southampton hosted United in the Premier League, as Solskjaer's men were looking to continue their revival, whilst Ralph Hasenhüttl's men were looking to go as high as second in the league. In the end, in a fascinating tactical battle, Solskjaer's men came from behind to win 3-2 thanks to goals by Cavani and Fernandes, whilst Jan Bednarek and James Ward-Prowse netted for the Saints. The XG indicated that United were good value for the win, 2.48 to 0.5. The XG time map shows that United were dominant in terms of chance creation from start to finish. But what tactics did both managers use, and how did Solskjaer orchestrate the comeback? Let's take a look. And if you want even more content, whilst helping to support the channel, consider checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/footballmadesimple. You'll get early access to videos, exclusive videos, as well as access to the upcoming FMS video podcast. A quick reminder of the formations used by both sides, as seen on the OneFootball app. OneFootball will get you match updates, formation updates, as well as player and team stats, and so much more. And the best part is, you can get it absolutely free through the sponsored link in the description below. Now, let's dig into the tactics. We'll briefly touch on what Southampton did in possession, as they had almost 50% of the ball. When starting deep, Southampton were willing to go longer, with Alex McCarthy attempting 17 long balls compared to a combined 4 from De Gea and Henderson. The target was often Che Adams, who had some success against the United centre-backs, looking to knock the ball back, often to Walcott. He won 3 aerials against the United centre-backs. But it should be noted, Southampton primarily built up short from the goal kick, and in open play in general, when the keeper had the ball. The centre-backs would look to drop either side of the keeper to create a back 3 against the United front 2. This would often leave Fernandes to deal with both of the pivots, although we did at times see Fred push higher to apply pressure onto one of them. When United were behind, we often saw Fernandes push higher to create 3 versus 3s higher up in these pressing situations, and we saw McCarthy often struggle to deal with being pressed, even leading to a decent chance when he tried to force the central play. The flanks became the natural outlet, looking to find the centre-backs as United didn't naturally have wingers. However, once the ball went wide to Walker-Peters or Bertrand, the wider central midfielders used this as a press trigger to apply pressure in the wider regions and were often able to slow down progression in this manner. Occasionally we did see Southampton then look to work the ball into midfield. The biggest part of Southampton's arsenal, however, were the quick switches from either side high up. On the left, we would see the team look to overload the right back. Naturally, United would then have to shift across to compensate, and crucially, Armstrong also moved infield, making sure the United wider central midfielder would follow him. So, Walker-Peters could then make late moves into the space to get on the end of the switch, and either get wide for the cross or for the shot. We saw similar patterns from the right, particularly on the transition, but Djenepo tended to stay wider to receive the switch and be 1 versus 1 with Wan-Bissaka. He then often looked to take him on, and although Bertrand would overlap unchallenged, as Fred tended to be drawn infield from his right central midfield position, which meant that there was a 2 versus 1 out wide, Djenepo tended to cut into the traffic and often lost possession, rather than played in Bertrand. and generally, United limited Southampton's attacking impetus. Now, what did United look to do in possession? United primarily looked to play out short through the centre-backs. This is because although Southampton pressed high up, the press began deeper on the pitch, so Maguire and Lindelof could have more controlled possession deeper, particularly once Southampton were ahead. The United midfield shape contributed to helping break down the press. Although a diamond on paper, Fred would often come infield instantly to form a double pivot, whilst Fernandes and Van der Beek pushed higher into the half spaces, so it was more of a box than a diamond. In addition, these front four showed incredible fluidity, with the attacking midfielders often popping up in centre-forward roles. This would mean that on the occasions that Southampton's forwards pressed the centre-backs and their pivots pressed the United double pivot, incisive passes could be played into the men in the half spaces. So, instead, we often saw the centre-forwards begin to look to cut the route into Fred and Matic, allowing Romeo and Ward-Prowse to drop deeper. And playing with two forwards in Rashford and Greenwood, who are both comfortable wide and central, gave them options. Depending on which flank they attacked down, one would take up the position of the centre forward whilst the other hugged the touchline, with their movements causing the defenders problems often. In addition, on either flank, Van der Beek and Fernandes would be moving into the half space at the same time. So if a fullback was dragged towards the wide forward, the attacking midfielder could be played in. This also worked vice versa, with the forward having more space out wide. We see shades of this in the Fernandes goal. As discussed, the forward, this time Cavani, is willing to go wider. This creates space for Fernandes to attack, and Oli was happy for his attacking midfielders to push centrally at times. Cavani's cross then finds Fernandes, who is able to finish. And when Cavani came on, United's game plan shifted slightly, being more willing to go direct, as high up they looked to overload the box much more often. Both forwards played more central, and joined by the attacking midfielders, it meant that they had four men consistently looking to attack the crosses as Southampton tired, and this eventually paid dividends. Overall, despite the scoreline, United were in control for most of the game, especially from open play. But still, Southampton showed some cracks in the United diamond, consistently looking dangerous down the flanks, which is something Oli may want to address. But what did you make of this match overall? Drop it down in the comments below. As always, I'd like to give a big shout out to my current Patreons, including Luke Keach, Coach Vass, and Jacques Edouard, who have recently joined the Ultra tier. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.